You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I am your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, the prophet of persistence, Randy Engston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, dude.
I'm back.
You are. I actually almost forgot what you look like.
Well, you got a nice, fresh new beard that just showed up.
only like 6 weeks worth, but here it is.
It's all greased up. Got a little glaze on there. What is that?
I gotta follow suit, man. You know.
Yours doesn't have any gray in it, though.
Well, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Time is doing its thing.
Yeah. You got some beard oil in there?
Naturally, you know it.
Like natural oil?
No,
or?
like naturally, of course. I mean, if you're gonna have it, you got to do it right.
Yeah, I've been using that beard oil, man. It's nice and greasy, nice little sheen.
Do you
on
have
there.
a favorite?
No,
not
yet.
No, I have This was a $1 beard club.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't pay for it, so even better.
Yeah, gifted.
Yeah, I'll get like one of those like party bags or something at one of the events that we've done.
Done. Grease it up.
Take it.
I will tell you that I do stay away from the scented beard oils because they have like that sandalwood.
Yeah, everything's all like musky and musty and
gives me a headache. Anyways, we're back in the saddle. I just got back from 10 days. Let's see, 10 days, 5 states, 4 gyms, 3 projects completed.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, we did the STS. I did it. Went out for STS, and then I just went from gym to gym to gym and did keep automation projects.
Which brings us to our next point.
Automations. Yeah, so we did a podcast on maybe 7 episodes ago about automations. Got a ton of questions that came in on that. And since that episode, we've done probably 6 different automation projects, and they're awesome, number one. And I want to kind of talk about the cool things we've been doing with automation. So as of tomorrow, Keep, which is the software that we recommend and what we use and build out in, is coming out with basically an alpha test for the SMS automations. And what that is while leads are coming in, you can send emails, but now you're going to be able to send text messages right with it. You don't need a third-party software. Obviously, being an alpha test, there's going to be bugs and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have to kind of go through and test that. They're going to give us a couple apps to test. And cool thing is, this week we've got Clayton Mask, the CEO and founder of Infusionsoft Keep, coming on the show. So that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, by the time you guys hear this, that one will be recorded, and then obviously we'll be deep in the test already. So
as you're listening to this episode, if you have questions, if you want this done at your gym, give us a call, book a time, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. We'll get on a call with you and kind of show you what we do behind the scenes, and you can do screen shares with people and stuff. And maybe we'll post a little link to the video that we did, kind of walk through in the show notes if you want to see more.
I could do that.
So really what we've been doing and what I've been kind of creating for these different gyms, and every gym's a little different. They've got different processes, but ultimately most gyms have the same process when it comes to getting leads, having them nurture to book an appointment, and then having them show up, and then on from there it could be a million things. And some of the cool stuff we've been doing is we've been building the email automation. We're going to be bolting in this SMS, and we've also been doing something called Slide Broadcast now that integrates with Infusionsoft through Zapier, and we're dropping voicemails.
Nice.
So that was always done through Scipio, and we've been using Scipio for a couple of years now, but now we're kind of easing away from Scipio for a couple of reasons. One, it's expensive for what it is. And number 2, it's I want to have it all in one, right? I want to have it all in one. So when we get rid of Scipio, you kind of lose that voicemail drop broadcasting setup. So we found Slide Broadcast, which is very simple to use. And so as leads come in, we can drop a voicemail right onto their cell phones and their voicemail without the phone ringing. So it sounds like you reached out to them. And so you would leave a message, hey, I saw that you had interest in our program. Sorry I missed you. I'm going to go ahead and send you an email and a text follow-up. So just book a time that works best for you. And what this is doing is that we're hitting them on 3 different levels, right? SMS, email, and voicemail.
Right away. And that's huge. I don't remember the statistics, but somebody mentioned at the Growth Summit, maybe Eric, that there was a percentage. It was like 80% more likely that somebody shows up at their initial visit if you reach out to them within the first 15 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, that's astronomical. So if you're not doing it through automation, we know just from being in the weeds that a lot of that 15-minute gap now becomes 30, becomes half a day, becomes, I forgot to reach out yesterday.
Gym owners are busy.
Absolutely.
Right? And a lot of them don't, a lot of gyms don't have that dedicated salesperson, which is something we can talk about in another episode. But yeah, those leads come through and they're not getting nurtured and they're not taking action. And then all of a sudden when you reach back out to them the next day or 3 or 4 hours later, they forgot what they even opted in for and you've lost that lead.
And here's the beauty of when we talk about automation, I guess over the last year or 2 years, it's kind of gone back and forth in this digital marketing fitness realm, what you should be automating to or for and what you shouldn't be doing. And, we have the belief that, and I think it goes back to a couple years ago at Traffic and Conversion Summit, the purpose of your automation should lead to a face-to-face, or it should lead to that next human interaction. This is not, when we say automate, we're not automating you out of a job, guys. Like, there's plenty of work to be done. We're just going to make the things that you can take off of your plate and should take off of your plate realistically, because the one thing that I really like about automation is consistency. It's not just the fact that it's less work for you or less work for the sales agent, but it's consistent. Or it's consistent. And when you have a baseline for measurement, now we can work on improving a system.
Sure. And because if it's done different every time, maybe salesperson 1's on top of it and they're getting great sales, and salesperson 2 just isn't on top of it, or they're busy or getting pulled around. They're not making the calls or not making the text outbound. Then
what if it's the one person and they just have a really bad day? Or, like people, the human variable, is not something that we can, solidify 100%. So removing that and allowing a system to do that, at least to create the conversation in a face-to-face scenario, it's, in my opinion, the greatest way to actually increase the effectiveness of those. Yeah,
and the way we've been running Profit for, since 15 has all been through automation. So any lead source that you come in through us, you're going to get nurtured into booking a call. And if you don't book a call, you're going to go into a different sequence and then a different sequence and a different sequence until either you say no thanks, ignore us, or you take action.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, we're not out bugging people. Anybody who comes into these situations or into these ecosystems has raised their hand. They've opted in. They've left information. So you as a gym owner know that you're not just outbound cold calling, a list of leads that somebody, you bought from somebody. Yeah. This is somebody who's coming in from a website, a walk-in, a referral. So many different lead sources, traffic sources.
And what's cool about Keep and the way we're building this is we can integrate any lead source. So even offline lead sources can go into we call it client lifecycle. And really we're pushing those people into booking an appointment. Somebody that walks in off the street and they're ready to book an appointment, then you just take them to that next step and book the appointment right there. And to make it really easy for the gyms we've been working with, I've been creating these mini landing pages that live inside of Keep that live on the front desk, and they just have to pop in the client information, and when somebody calls, walks in, they get a lead, click a button, and it goes right into the system, and they're going in, getting nurtured into the next step, which is booking an appointment.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Booking an appointment. So the next kind of step after that is like once they book an appointment, the big gap for a lot of gyms is they don't show up. And so we've got automation built around that.
I'd say that's probably, in the conversation I've been having lately, the show rate is where everybody is kind of struggling. Is how do I get these people to actually show up for the appointment that they've set more often than not.
Yeah, we have a whole episode on increasing, it's called skyrocketing your show rate. And it comes down to a lot of reasons why people don't show up. And one of them is they're fearful. Like they're nervous to come in, right? Yeah. They felt like when they saw that ad or they opted into something, they felt good about doing it. But when push comes to shove and it's time to actually show up, they get cold feet.
Yeah, and one of the things I know you guys are really good at, and we recommend, obviously, anybody that's in our world when it comes to teaching and educating in that process, is speaking to that. Meeting the client at that level and understanding and guiding them through the next process, the next step that they need to take. What to expect when they walk in the door, who they're going to meet, who they're meeting with for the consultation, the name of the person at the front desk, all of these things that build a relationship, make it easier for the individual, can lead to a greater chance of them walking through the door and just being there.
And that can be done through automation, which it's done.
Yep.
And so when we speak to the word automation, these are just processes, typically communication, but they don't always have to be automated communication. So some of the things that that we do is when somebody opts in and they are being nurtured to book an appointment, but they don't book right away. Well, we can put offline tasks for individuals in the system and say, hey, front desk, Alexa, so-and-so came in on this offer, please reach out to them. And then it goes on their dashboard and they have to actually check it off when they do it. And so it reminds people to take actions. And there's, Whitney, one of our clients, uses it to train her new hires. So they put every new hire into like an onboarding sequence over 6 weeks, and each week they get a new lesson.
Smart.
And then the manager gets tasked to go over those things with each new hire, and you can build out that for automation. So that's not just marketing. This is actually training your staff.
Internal, yeah.
Another thing that she does, and these are great things that you guys can use as gym owners, is there's different seasons in the gym. And in her gym, she kind of decorates for fall and Christmas and New Year's, all this stuff. So every year she's got a task for her GM to go switch out the seasonal decorations in the gym, and they have to check it off. So Whitney's not trying to remember everything in the gym. She's thinking about all these things that happen every single year. She's automating that.
Build them once, and here's the beauty of it. You do it once.
Yep.
You can do it on a cyclical calendar where next year it's the same thing. It's just you're going to get that task again.
Yep.
What I like about that too is it puts the staff in a proactive situation instead of being reactive. Often when leads come in, it's now, okay, well, what do I do next? Now when you have somebody who is assigned a task and the first thing that they do is show up for their shift that day, and they've got a list of tasks, boom.
They go in and they click them off. And so Whitney can go in, or any gym owner, you can go in and see if those tasks are done. If they're done, great. The job's done. There's so many things that you could do. You can automate surveys to your clients. So every 6 months, maybe you automate a survey. Somebody's in there for 3 months, they don't get it, and then when they get to 6, that client gets it. So it's not just nurturing to an appointment, it's after the appointment, it's business systems, it's onboarding client.
Long-term nurture. I mean, literally an annual calendar or an annual newsletter. We automate that whole process out to our clients.
Yep. So getting content in front of your list every single week for the next 365 days and beyond, you can automate. Do it once and automate.
And that's something to speak to too, because I think in our world, a lot of people gather a lead and then they don't really, once they've reached out and that lead falls off, they just assume that, oh, well, they're not interested, moving on.
Yeah.
And they don't ever think like, well, maybe that person had more questions, or maybe that person, their relationship wasn't really established enough for that person to be comfortable walking in the door.
Right.
Or you haven't, hit that pain point enough or something for that individual.
I've got a great story about that exact thing. So we did some like recipe book years ago that somebody would opt in for, and we would get leads and we would nurture them to take action. But if they don't take action, we put them on our list.
Yeah.
And I think I've told the story before. I actually, when I was still selling up at the front, and I know this happens more often, I'm just not in the conversations, but when I was selling here, I had somebody call and book an appointment, and they came in and they told me straight out, he goes, I think I opted in 2 years ago to your list, and at the time I had a coach, and he's since moved out of state, and I've been looking for somebody, and you're constantly in my inbox, and I'm reading your content every single week. So you're obviously the first choice. I came and he signed up for our biggest package.
Yeah.
But if I just threw that lead away and never talked to him again, then I would never had that chance.
And that's something to because everyone's wildly aware of their CPL or their cost per lead. But every time you remarket to that person, you have them. That person's raised their hand.
Right.
Like for you to not follow up with that conversation that's on you. Like in my opinion, as a business owner, especially in the fitness realm, where somebody's asking for help, it's our obligation to make that person comfortable so that they can walk in and we can be the solution to their problem.
So let's talk about cost per communication. So let's just say you got a lead, and we're going to do math.
Oh, great.
Let's just say you got that lead last month for $10, and that the person never came in and they're in your list. Well, if I send a message and mark it to them again, now the cost per communication is now $5, and I mark it to them again, now it's $2.50, and then $125, and do the math.
75 cents.
Thank you. Do the math. No, it's not.
No, it's 77, and
yeah.
Now we're talking fractions of change, so we're good there.
But the point is, they get automation for the next year, marketing, that you're reaching out to them, and your cost per communication is pennies by the end of this thing. So I can, at any given time, for free, technically, I can take the leads I've already paid for and just blast out messages to them. And it's not on a whim. And here's something that I would tell you that John Farkas, who spoke at the Growth Summit, I actually did his automation. That was the last project I did in St. Louis, and came back, and he sends out his emails at 4 a.m. every single day. He emails his list daily.
Nice.
Every single day. And he said,
and he writes great content.
If there's anything John does great, which is a lot of things, it's telling stories through email.
Yeah.
And his list wants to open that because they're entertained. And not only does he always tells a story, and then he ties it back to how that relates to health and fitness. And he's always sending them out 4 a.m. And then one week he got sick and he couldn't get to the computer, and he had people asking him, "Hey, is everything okay? I didn't get an email from you." Could you imagine?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
But that's the same situation that we talk about, like with content calendars on your social media.
Yes.
When you create repetition, you create a pattern, people come to expect that. That becomes part of their habit and their world.
Yep.
So when it doesn't show up, that sometimes is more engaging or eye-opening for them than when they get that email every day.
Right.
And so that's great. So it probably created a bunch of conversation.
Totally. Yeah, it did.
Allowed him one-on-one off-topic conversation.
And something else that John does is everybody in his gym, the way they start, and they really don't start any other way than on a 30-day trial. So they only start on a 30-day trial, unless they're a past client and then they just re-sign up or whatever. So for 30 days, he tells them, hey, for the next 30 days, I'm going to send you an email every single day at this time. And I set that up for him over the last weekend, and we went through, and I was reading some of these emails. They're amazing. Yeah. But he tells them up front, I'm going to be sending you them every single day, so they expect. And he's bringing them like through that journey to becoming a member at his gym. And it's, their storytelling, they're obviously, relate to his gym, so it's not like you can copy and paste these things, and they talk about him and his team and everything else, but they're every single day. And so like the subject line is like day 2 out of 30, day 3 out of 30, and day 4 out of 40, so they can actually go back and reread them, and he's telling the story. And we set that up in automation.
That's awesome.
Too. So yeah,
and it speaks to one of John. I mean, that's how he can tie automation to something that he already does really effectively. Now that that's done, he doesn't have to do that and worry about that every single day or every 30 days. I mean, it's literally, it's going to do itself. It's going to do it itself.
Yep. And the way we set it up is after he does his, he calls them strategy sessions, his team, they have to click one button.
I was going to get back to that, yeah.
So I've set up this form, they click one button, and it goes right into the welcome sequence, 30 days, and then they convert on from there.
That's awesome. So yeah, one of the things that Tim's talking to is he'll set up smart forms.
Smart forms, yeah.
And, the result of a consultation, what are the options that person can move into from a consultation, right?
Outcomes.
They came into it, they moved into a trial, they moved into a membership, they left and it was a no, or maybe they need more information.
They didn't show.
The individual that's sitting down with them conducting that consultation, all they have to do at the end of that is open up that contact record, select the result of that or the outcome of that consultation, and now the system is going to do the rest.
Yep. And it doesn't come out of the box like this.
Correct.
I mean, there's no way that this could come out of the box because every business is different, and Keep is a small business tool. And it's going to be great to speak to Clayt on Friday about all the direction of the company. But that's what we build, and we build different for every gym. So like it's a custom thing. So if you're interested in creating, and this is a system. We talk about systems. This is a system. This is a communication system. It's a engagement system. It's a conversion system. It's a booking and appointment system. It's accountability. You can create accountability. So there's another thing you can do in there. So if your client doesn't show up they're actually a client and they don't show up to work out that day, click a button, send them a text, send them a voicemail. Without even picking up the phone, you just click a button, boom. Yeah. Hey, we missed you today. Everything okay? Drops a voicemail. Hey, this is, Tim from Pulse Fitness. Just, I noticed you didn't come in today, and I just want to make sure everything's okay. I had you on the schedule, but, go ahead and click here and book another appointment.
Yeah. And some of the things, obviously, without getting too technical, I mean, there are so many different advantages with merge fields, with contact, who owns the contact record, all of these things, too, that makes it simple for the user. Mm-hmm. When you need to make changes or you need to make updates and things like that, maybe your staff turned over and you've got somebody else at the helm.
Right.
The software can be, when it's set up correctly from the get-go, it can help make all of those changes. I mean, nobody wants to go through and edit 365 days of long-term nurture emails.
No.
But when you can change one
link
and all of those gets updated, again, saves time, saves money, no more mistakes. It's incredible.
It's a true system, and I believe this is something that every gym should have. Mm-hmm. So at some level. Maybe it doesn't have to be as robust, but you need to have processes that happen for clients, and they're pretty repetitive. They're pretty much the same every single time. They become a lead, they become an appointment, they show up, they do something, they move on. And if you don't have this is something I would tell you for 2020, jump all over it. We're going to be doing an automation workshop probably in January. Again, there's so many things that we have to get done. There's so many things. We're doing a Black Friday workshop coming up this week.
Planning another event
for hopefully Nashville. I got to look at the pricing. She sent me all the pricing. So if you're interested, if you want a system, if you want me to do this for you, I'm not flying out anymore. You'd have to fly here, but there's some benefits to flying here to work. Number one, you get out of your gym. Mm-hmm. Number two, you can check out my space and how we run the operations here. You can meet my team, the guys that you've been hearing about, Zach and Alexa and Tatiana, all the coaches and stuff. You can see that. But number two, the environment that we create here. We've got whiteboards, we've got projectors, we've got a space where nobody's going to bother us. That's one of the things that I noticed when I was going from these different gyms over the last week. Every gym I went into was a little bit different. Some had projectors, some didn't. Some gyms were under construction, and some gyms had coaches coming in and out of the office.
Sure.
So we just want to probably make this a system here, and just you come out here, we work for 2 days, and we've got this thing built and turnkeyed by the time you get out of here. If that's something you want, book a call. pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. We'll handle that.
Let's talk about, because one of the things that, again, bringing everything into one single location. Let's talk about pricing and probably average savings. I know one of the individuals that just came on board. I think we're saving him about $800 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he using?
Oh God, I can't even get it. I have a list written down somewhere because it was every single. Now, granted, guys, we get that some of these other softwares have one thing that they're really great at, but a lot of the times it's not worth paying astronomical amount of money for that one thing. The appointment setting, text message, email, appointment. Did I say that already? We're moving to the appointment as a goal in there. So we're really reducing the number of zaps with third-party softwares and stuff. So bringing everything into one place is huge, and at a cost that blows my mind.
And we can talk about cost for a second, but you add into customization, because there's some of these softwares that force you to do it a certain way. So why not create something that's proprietary to your gym, your systems, or if you want to improve on your systems and you don't have that kind of all step-by-step process, we can help you build that. The cost of keep right now, if you go through us, we're going to be able to get you some percentage of discount for 3 months. It's about 50% off. It's $49 a month for 3 months. It goes to $99. And that comes with 2,500 contacts. If you have more contacts, like you say you have 10,000 contacts, it might be $299, something like that.
Sure.
On the top end, but we can still get you the discount for 3 months on that. Now that I'm a Keep certified partner, we get these sweet deals. And like for instance, the alpha testing, they're actually looking to us to help them develop that. So we're in the alpha test for that. And I'm actually going tomorrow to get that set up. So that's all done deal. So there's huge benefits to going all in one.
This is in the problem solving that we do. I think this is it's leading the charge. I think this is
as a service for profit.
Yep. I mean, we can go bigger, like we talk about our coaching programs, and we can dive into all of the systems in the facility.
Yep.
And now even with that, we're usually layering this as well.
Yeah.
But I'd say the average, the number of people that have come on board with the need for this and taken action. I mean, look at the people that we've gone and visited. These are people that have their stuff together.
Yeah, John's been in business 8 years, right? He's got a great gym. He's doing, at 4,400 square feet, I think he's doing like 700,000 a year in that space. Who else? Village
Fitness,
got, 1,300 members. Work with him. Evan, we work with. Kelsey, we worked with. Yep. She came out here. Alloy, we're doing this for Alloy.
Correct. Yeah.
So big businesses and stuff. So it solves so many problems, so many issues, and these are the issues that come up over and over on our calls. Can't get leads to book appointments. Can't get appointments to book. So what happens when a client cancels their membership? We built this into every single one of these systems too. Cool. Would you never talk to them again?
Yeah,
no,
right.
we put them into a long-term nurture that then rebubbles up at 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and tries to get those folks back in, because we know that if somebody cancels their membership, a lot of times it's very hard for them to admit that they failed and come walking back in the door.
Sure.
So we got to invite them back in.
Yeah.
But if you never talk to them again, there's no chance of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've got systems created to get those folks to come back in. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of problems that this thing solves. And, once you have this in place, the focus, your clarity is so clear. You're not worried about, what's happening with these leads. When are they coming in? What's going on with them? Are my current clients getting nurtured? Do I have my past clients getting nurtured to come back in and take action?
And here's one of the big reasons why we're heavily invested in the Keep Infusionsoft mix: logic. So when a user takes action in an email, heads to a link, does some sort of action, the system, we're going to set up logic-based responses. So then the following process is going to change based upon that user's movements and actions. This is something that you're not going to see with a lot of these large broadcast type autoresponders.
Right.
And this was a big struggle, like when we were setting up abandoned cart sequences and things like that for low barrier offers. You can't pull somebody out of a list when you add them to another type of thing. Well, in here, everything's tagging based.
Yeah.
So we have all sorts of logic built into this, guys, where, I mean, it changes the game.
Yep.
I mean, literally, like if you put yourself through that client onboarding process yourself, you're going to understand that it's incredible, the logic and then the sequencing that follows.
Yep. You're right. So the whole point of a lot of these sequences is for somebody to take action.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do take the action, we want to stop reminding them to take action, because if you do, it kind of annoys them. Right?
And it could look like you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And so that's absolutely why we lean towards Keep. If you haven't checked out Keep, check it out. But reach out to us first, because you're going to get a way better deal through us if you sign up. And maybe you want to sign up and do it yourself. Cool. Still sign up through us, because we've got a better deal for you. And with this SMS and the calendar appointments booked right in through the software, it's like, this is kind of like, I'm more excited about the direction that Keep is. I mean, because I've used Infusionsoft for 10 years.
Yeah.
The last 6 months of what they've been doing, it's like, finally, it's kind of like, well, finally they're doing it, but now they're listening, right? And they're actually inviting us down there. Tim, how are your users using the software? How can we make it better? How can we do this? What do you think we should do here? And I'm like telling them exactly what we want. So it's almost like I have my own software development company here.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 60 days, we sat down there, and if you guys don't know how software works, right, the engineers are real good at getting a task done, but the end user is an entirely different person, the way that they think and operate. So we were having that conversation around, okay, this is what we're looking to accomplish as a end result, and they take it to their engineer team, and now they can develop the nuts and bolts in order to make that happen, but they need to know in a real world application, how that works, how that's happening. Like we were talking about the appointments as an end goal. Mm-hmm. They had appointments as a feature. Yep. You could use this and it could build out your calendar, but you couldn't automate around that feature. We gave them that feedback, and now that's something that's on their list of things to do.
Yeah, they're going to start building that. Yeah, after this SMS is done. So, I mean, I'm going to tell Clayton this on Friday. Like, appreciate that he actually listens to his users. I mean, how else can you get better, right? It's just like you talking to your clients, having surveys to your clients. What can we do better? And when they tell you something, you can't get upset. Like, if you're not doing something well, fix it. Like, those are your clients. For instance, after the Growth Summit, we sent out surveys to everybody. Hey guys, this is our first run at this. What could we have done better? What did you like? What didn't you like? And we can't get upset when they come in and say, hey, that speaker wasn't that good. I wish, we had something else here. Cool, thank you. You got to appreciate that when your clients come to you and say, hey, this coach isn't really doing it for me. Hey, thank you for sharing that with me. Now you can go fix it, because if that what you don't want to have happen is that nobody tells you anything and they just leave.
Yeah, how about it?
Yeah, and sometimes that does happen, and they leave, and then you find out 6 months later it was one little thing you could have changed, and it's like, wow.
Or even worse, don't be the one that asks and does the survey and then combats every bit of response.
No,
like you have to. I mean, even if you can't change something, maybe, like it's just unreasonable, you still have to address their concerns, their needs. Like, just remove the ego and understand that they're only saying it because they're trying to help and because you asked.
Exactly. So there it is. Systems, automations save the day. Automations for the win. We're helping gym owners win, and guys, this is going to help you win. This isn't a sales pitch. This is like, go do this, right?
Yeah.
Go get this done, knock this out, and if you want us to do it for you, book a call, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. Happy to help you out, at least have a conversation on what we can do for you. Until next time, guys, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.